Before the game, Xavier Webb of Riverton was named Mr. Wyoming Basketball, and how fitting that he gets the award at Sheridan College, which is where he'll play next season. The Wyoming All-Stars versus Montana inside the Golden Dome in Sheridan. First quarter, Montana wearing the white. Brett Thompson of Laurel is going to get this party started with a big bang from behind the arc to give the visitors an early 3-0 advantage. Thompson got off to a hot start. I wonder if it was something in the shoes that he was wearing. There's 3 more. 11 points were his numbers, and now it's a 6-0 contest. The Northern Neighbors had a good long-range attack plan. Here's Joey Marzion of Great Falls CMR. Not quite as far, but he got it to go for half of his 4 points. Now Montana's up 8-zip. Wyoming needed to get going sooner, else it was going to be a long game. How about some defense? Wyatt Shinover of Star Valley. That's a 6'2" guy rejecting a 7-footer. That does not happen often because it's usually supposed to be the other way around. Now some offense. Webb has a one-on-one, and Mr. Wyoming Basketball knows what to do in that situation. Lay in and one. That was the start of a 20-point game for the Wolverine. The score is 8-2. But the opposition would still maintain their hot start. Andrew Campbell of Billings West burying 3 of his 8 to push the score up to 11-2 in favor of the visitors. The home team was playing catch-up and needed something big. Webb is spitting up something worth 3 points, and he's got it. His team needed that one, and now they're trailing 13-8. Now, of course, it was not all just Webb. His teammates got in on the act, and I mean that literally. Cade Salisbury is a Riverton teammate. He buries 3 of his 17 on that shot, and they're getting closer, down 14-11. Montana was able to maintain their advantage. Tad Rose of Billings Senior scores quickly off of the inbounds. He had an 11-point game. Visitors lead 19-13. Speaking of Billings, players from that city were making their marks in this game as well. Dane Muller out of Skyview finishes the 2-on-1 to get his 8-point game started. That would make the score 21-13. The home team would try to answer back. Here's Salisbury from the wing, and he'll take 3 with either ranch or blue cheese. His team would hang around within a reasonable striking range, trailing 23-16 after the first 10 minutes. Second quarter, you know that 7-footer I showed you earlier that got rejected? Well, he had his moments, both now and later. Ryan Edwards out of Glacier. This guy's going to Gonzaga, and he has his team up 25-16. Now, when a guy that tall gets too close to the net and you can get him the ball, he's going to score almost every time. Here's a great example on this highlight. 16 points were his numbers. Montana leads 29-20. The home team knew they had to stay away from him if they were going to get their points. Webb is in the corner, doing what the bad boys do, dropping 3s. They're still down 6. It's 29-23 at this point. Now, you knew this was going to happen sooner or later. Someone was going to try. Tyler Luce of Laramie is 5'10", and he's giving up more than 1 foot against Edwards. And yeah, that was the result, and not a pretty one. So much for that idea. Wyoming would slowly get closer, but the opposition was not about ready to roll over. This is Kendall Denham out of Malta, finding a lane and scoring easily. He contributed with 11 to push the score up to 36-30. Right about now is a good time for a turnover. Luce was just waiting for his chance, and once he got it, he took off and got himself 2 points. He put in a workload himself with 17 points, but his squad is still down 44-38. We're trying to show as many players as we can on these highlights. Here's a good time for Chad Kananen of Roy as he'll spot up for 3 and can it. He had a 5-point day. The visitors now have a double-digit lead. It's 49-38. The home team kept hanging around and got a few here and there. Salisbury's at the top of the key, opening the door for 3. That got the deficit back into single digits. The scoreboard reads 49-41. The opposition, though, liked having a big lead. Every rose has its thorns, and Rose delivered both for Montana. That 3 makes it a 52-41 game. About 3 seconds left before halftime, and that's enough time to do something. Luce will race down and just barely got the shot off in time, and it counts for 3. That provided some much-needed momentum as Wyoming went into the locker room, down 54-46. Third quarter, the boys would make a big. The defense and transition games showed up. Shinover knocks the ball loose, and Luce takes off the other way with it. Nice finish on the left side as he'll take a spill, but he was fine. It's a 2-point game. Home team is down 54-52. Montana would score to go up 4, but that did not deter the boys. Webb is in the corner again. Yellow. We have a game here, folks. Wyoming trails by 1. The scoreboard reads 56-55. Here comes more. Shinover at the top of the key. Here comes another three to cap off a 15-2 run, and that would give his team their first lead of the game. Now it's 58-56. But the visitors did not stay down long. Casey McLean out of Whitehall is open behind the defense, and he'll make a 2-point contribution. He had 4 altogether, and the score is knotted up at 58 all. One thing that the home team did well at was shooting the long ball. Here's Marshall MacArthur Powell with his only contribution of the game, and it helped. The lead is back in Wyoming's favor. It's 61-60. Then the Northern Neighbors would make a move of their own. Marzion would win this one-on-one exchange with a lay-in, and that would put his team back up 64-61. You saw one buzzer beater earlier. Here's another that's just as good. Denham's going to pull up from college range with 1 second to go, and that's how you finish a quarter. The Mo is back on Montana's side as they led 68-61 going into the final 10 minutes. Fourth quarter, the visitors would rebuild that huge lead. Rose has not withered. He's still blooming with threes. That would cap off an 11-zip run. Montana's now up 71-61. And Wyoming would get back to work. Here's a pretty baseline drive and finish by Logan Birmingham of 10 Sleep. He had 4, and his team was getting back into this game, down 71-67. Montana would get someone new in on the scoring. Here's Daniel Mayer of Billings Central, a 6'9" guy with 15 points. That one made it 73-67. The lead would grow to 8, but the home team was not done yet. Luce is behind the crowd, but we saw him throw up that 3 and nail it dead center. That was big. Now his team's down 75-70. The Northern Neighbors answered right back, so another counter was needed. How about we show Logan Wasson out of Gillette? We have not yet seen him, and now is a good time. He contributed with 7. The scoreboard shows 78-73 with his team still losing. Time is starting to become a factor, and Wyoming needs points. Salisbury's going to count to 3, and then he's going to move the ball through the hoop. That 11-point deficit has been cut to 2. It's now 80-78. We need to see Mr. Wyoming basketball again. It's been a while. Will you please announce your presence? Thank you very much. We're deadlocked at 83 and had to put more time on the clock when 000 hit. Now in overtime, and here was the problem. The big man for Montana still had some left in the tank. He scored 7 of his 16 in the extra period, including this lay-in here, and that was a bad sign as the visitors went up 89-83. The other problem was that Wyoming had a hard time scoring anything. This was the only made field goal for the home team, courtesy of Luce, but it was not enough as Montana would get the win in overtime, 93-87.